I can see her lying back in her satin dress, in a room where you do what you don't confess. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah! Happy Homebrew Wednesday. Okay, did some brewing this week. And I can't remember what day it was. I think it was, man, was it Sunday? Was it Monday? I can't remember. I think it's been about 3 days. Yeah, it's probably been about 3 days. So that's, today's Wednesday, so maybe it was Sunday. But I wasn't intending on brewing. I hadn't picked up any brewing supplies. And my wife says, hey, you know, my work is having a Super Bowl party, and, you know, well, her work, the board's coming into town, and they're throwing a Super Bowl party. She's like, you know, can you make any beer? And I was like, well, wait a minute, that's pretty quick. That's like a couple weeks away. I said, yeah, I'm sure I can scare something up. So I went in and looked at what I had, and I had some Pilsner, I had some two-row, had some Galaxy hops, and I had these 2 dry packs of yeast that I got from the National Homebrew Convention. And one was BE, was it BE134 and T154 and BE34 or something like that. One was a Belgian peppery, I couldn't tell what type it was. It just said Belgian style peppery notes. Then the other one was a Belgian style Saison. So I said, all right, well, depending on what efficiency I get, you know, this could be this could be over around a 7%. So I could throw 2 packs in there and get a blend and see what happens. So I threw it in there. You'll see the brew day. Sorry about that. So anyway, I'll cut away now and show the brew day for you. Happy Homebrew Wednesday. So this is going to be the first brew of 2019 or 2020. And I thought that I wasn't going to get a brew done in January, but thanks to Mrs. Dean, she asked me to brew a beer for her workers' Super Bowl party. So I've only got a few, just around 2 weeks. So it has to be quick. So I'm doing a Belgian IPA. First time I've done a Belgian IPA, and that just happens to, fit with the dry yeast that I have laying around. That's the only reason I'm doing a Belgian IPA, but we'll see how it comes out. So I'll come back a little bit later when I get this mash settled at this temp. Cheers. Okay, back. So I'm about 3 minutes left in the mash. My mash temperature was 152 for this brew. It's going to be a Belgian IPA. So I want to have a little bit thinner than my normal mouthfeel. I usually get medium. I want to get kind of on the low end of medium. So I think maybe that'll help me do that. Plus I've only got, about 11 pounds of grain in it, so I'll get a little bit more attenuation, I think, at a lower temperature. So this Belgian IPA is going to have about 50-50 two-row and Pilsner, a little bit more Pilsner than two-row. And then I put, I think, like a half a pound of Crystal 20 and probably about a 1/4 ounce of cherry smoked malt, or smoked cherry wood malt. So that I think will be kind of interesting. I don't know what that's going to do to it, but I guess we'll see. I just saw it and said, what the hell, I'll throw some in. Then for the hops, I'm going to use, I didn't really have any bittering hops, so I did have some Cryo Simcoe, so I'm doing a half a ounce of Cryo Simcoe. It's like 23.2 alpha acids at 60, so that'll give me the most amount of my bittering. Hopefully it's clean. I've never bittered with Simcoe before, and we'll see what happens. Then at 5 minutes, I'm putting in an ounce of Galaxy, and then I'm going to whirlpool at 180 for about 20 minutes, 2 ounces of Galaxy. So that's really all that's in there. For the yeast, I'm doing kind of going, obviously Belgian. So I'm going to split it up, 1 dry pack of Belgian TE or T58, and then which I think is like this peppery Belgian quality yeast. Doesn't really say much beyond that. It's a safe ale, and then a pack of safe ales BE, I forget what the other one is. It's their Saison, their Belgian Saison, whatever. I can't remember what the 158 or 150, something like that. So I figure, you know, I've had that dry yeast for a while. It says it's good through, I think, the September 2020, but just in case, I'll throw them both in. You know, I'll get something like a Saison, you know, I hope. But I think with all the hops, we'll see how this works out. One of my favorite Belgian IPAs is Raging Bitch by Flying Dog, I think it is. I really like it. So that one's a little bit more on the higher ABV. This one's only going to be about, you know, 6.1, 6.2%. So it says I should have a pre-boil gravity of 1050 and a post-boil of 1063. So I'm going to use this brew to tweak my Beersmith settings efficiency for my brew house again. So just so I can get baseline. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. Time to, looks like it's time to start sparging. Cheers. Okay, nice, beautiful, clear IPA. I hope this is a clear IPA. I don't know what the yeast is going to do to, since I'm using this Belgian yeast, what it's going to do to the clarity of it, but I hope it's nice and clear. I got first runnings of 1091, so plenty of conversion, so off to a good brew day. Cheers. What's going on, brew tubers? All right, so it is Sunday, and I'm waiting. Actually, I'm doing a brew day, and I'm waiting for the Chiefs. Come on, Chiefs. My boy Mahomes, he's from my hometown, so got to root for that guy. Plus, I like the Chiefs, always have. So anyway, I thought I would take this NEIPA experiment from Gary from Tapout Brewing, main brew guy Gary. So he sent me 2 beers, and this was from, I think this was I want to say this is the New England IPA he was brewing while I was brewing. Was it Maharaja, I guess? Anyway, he sent me 2 cans. Can 1, experiment 1, and experiment 2. I think what happened with these is he brewed these in, he split the New England IPA into 2 fermenters. One was traditionally fermented, the other was fermented under pressure. They were both dry hopped at High-Krausen. The pressurized fermentation was also pressurized, transferred into the keg, while the other one was via siphon. So there's really no other difference other than the pressurized fermentation. So, and I guess you would think that on the pressurized fermentation you would detect more hops because you don't have any oxidation going on. So I'm gonna drink these side by side. Got my two IPA glasses, right? One's Simcoe, one's Admiral. Anybody even use Admiral anymore? I don't know. I don't think I've ever used Admiral. So keep these right. So on my, let's see, if you're looking at this video, this is my left hand. This is my right hand. So I have experiment 1 on my left hand. I have experiment 2 on my right hand. So let's get into these. And thank you, Gary, for sending these beers to me. I really, really appreciate it, brother. All right. Give a pour. It's very hazy, that's for sure. I'm not gonna, I've already kicked up way too much of the head, but I know Gary's beers always foam up like this. I don't know if it's because of the canning or what, but they always get a decent amount of foam in them. There. Okay. So here they are, side by side. They look almost identical. I think that experiment 2 is a little lighter in color, slightly, just a tad. Experiment 1 is a bit darker. They both have the same head. I poured a little bit more in the Admiral or the experiment 1 glass, but they both have about the same head. They have loosely packed bubbles, very creamy, with some medium-sized ones too that are starting to burn out. So, and yeah, it's you know, they're very, very, very hazy, which makes sense. He did biotransformation in both of them, so I think that adds haze. It's my theory. So anyway, let's go in for a nose. This is for experiment 1. And 2. right off the bat, there is much noticeable difference in Experiment 2. I'm assuming Experiment 2 is the pressurized one because I'm getting a lot more pronounced. I know Gary got a slightly, I'm getting a lot more pronounced fruit on Experiment 2. I get kind of a muted stone fruit on Experiment 1. On Experiment 2, I'm almost getting some other stuff like pineapple and some citrus. But yeah, definite difference in the aroma, Gary, between 1 and 2. 2 being more pronounced, a lot more pronounced in the aroma. So, all right, time for a taste. Cheers. Experiment 1. Very clean. What I get on this one, on the taste, beyond the grist, is it's like orange rind, kind of on the not bitter, but not bitter as in hot bitter, but bitter as in orange rind bitter. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. Orange rind on the first one. It's a medium to light medium mouthfeel. Carb, little low, I think. Okay, let's go with 2. Wow, much more aroma on this one. Very similar in flavor, although I think it's because of the aroma. It's more pronounced, it's a little lighter. Yeah, almost the same beer. I think the difference is the aroma. So I'm gonna go with NEIPA Experiment 2 is the pressurized fermentation. I don't know, we'll see. This was fun. I think that, Gary mentioned that he wasn't, these are 7.9%. Holy shit, these are imperial strength. I think, Gary, you mentioned that you weren't really like jazzed with these. I'm kind of with you. I mean, they're not, it's not the best NEIPA I've ever had. I think you kind of agreed with that. It's not bad. There's no brewing flaws or anything in it. It just seems like something with the hops didn't quite work out with the grist that you selected, and there's a little bit of kind of a lot of noise going on, I guess. Probably would be how I would describe it. But from the standpoint of empirical data, in terms of the experiment, I definitely think that 2 has a lot more aroma, brought out more of the citrus aroma of whatever you put into the secondary, vice what happened with 2. So I'm going to guess that this is the one that was pressure fermented and limited your exposure to oxygen. So thank you for the beers. I got a bunch of beers from Gary. He sent me like a cream ale, a mango sour beer, which I might have that now, and some other stuff. So thank you, Gary. I appreciate it. Cheers. Okay, so I'm back. All right, so I'm about halfway through the sparge, so I figured I'd pop back in and say hi. Let's see, I'd say I'm at about, I don't know, maybe it's not halfway through. It's about 2 3/4 gallons. I usually collect 7 1/4, so. This is a local brewery somewhere in Virginia. I don't know. I don't even know the name of it, but it's called Sungazer by Charlestown Fermentory. I don't know. It's really good though. It is 6.8% NEIPA. You can see that. Nice dank really fruity aroma, really nice. It's a commercial IPA. You can see I have it listed right there. It's a commercial IPA that I had to get for New Year's Eve because my IPA that I did, the pantry IPA, didn't turn out. So this that I'm brewing today is kind of a pantry IPA of sorts. My wife, I didn't think I was gonna brew in January of 2020, but Heather mentioned that her work folks are in town for Super Bowl and they're gonna have a Super Bowl party, and she asked if I had a beer I could bring. So I said no. She's like, why don't you brew one? I'm like, okay, I will do that. So I went and looked at the ingredients that I had, and all I had was 2 dry packs of these different types of Belgian yeast. So I said, hey, I could do a Belgian IPA because there's a one that Flying Dog does here called Raging Bitch that I really like. It's really good. Although it's like a 8.4%. I don't think this is going to be an 8.4. This will probably be somewhat under, about 6.5% maybe. I don't know. We'll see what the gravity ends up. But the runoff was 1091, which is crazy for what's supposed to be a 6.1% beer. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I was surprised when I woke up this morning. I saw that there was a premiere going live, or some video premiering from SJ Pour doing his review of the 3rd round SJ Pour entries. So really cool. So I logged in and started watching those, and he does such a great job on the interviews. I think he's very nice with all of his, which I would be if I was running the competition too. Because my beer wasn't. I mean, I think it was good. I think it got fair criticism. It was well crafted. It was very detail oriented because I put a lot of detail and focus when I'm brewing these things. 1, to make a clear beer. 2, to hit my numbers. 3, to just kind of think through the science of it so that I get the right amount of fluid going through the herms, and just when you do an electric system, you kind of have to put a lot of detail in it, and I think that shows through when you do your brewing. So yeah, but just something happened with it. It just the hops got muted, or I don't know what happened. It wasn't a contamination. It was just something was up with the hops because they kind of smelled good. They smelled like out of the bag when you smelled the beer, but it didn't have the normal punch and aroma that I get with it. And then the flavor didn't carry through. And I don't think it was because of the grist. I think it was because of the hops. Although maybe it was the grist. Maybe I've got stale, and I'll find out with this Belgian IPA because I'm using the 2-row that's in my bin. Maybe that stuff got too much air in it or something. I don't know. Maybe it's the grain. I don't know. We'll find out. This Belgian IPA, because I used all the grain in my bins. I mean, literally emptied out the 2-row bin and then used a lot of the Pilsner. So I don't use any Pilsner in Old School. So if there was a culprit, it would have been the pale malt if it wasn't the hops. So I doubt it was the yeast, because the yeast. It fermented really well. So I don't think it was the yeast. I'm thinking if it was anything, it was the hops or the, wow, a little bit too much of a flow here, sorry. I have to man my sparge because it kind of tapers off after a while, and I gotta come adjust the valve. But yeah, I don't think it was the yeast. I think it had to have been, and there wasn't anything in my process that would have oxidized it or anything. So I think it had to be the hops or the grain. So I don't know. We'll see. For this one, I'm using the Galaxy that I got in the National Homebrew Convention. It's been in a can, so I think it'll be good. And then the Cryo Semco that I got from the homebrew store. So no dangers of any contaminants. So, yeah. All right, well, I'm kind of talked out right now. My wife gave me her resume she wants me to review, so I better get on that. Cheers. Okay, so you bet. So I'm finished with the mash. This is the result, which is, pretty clear. Ended up at 1053. So I was looking for 1050, and I got 1053. So not bad for efficiency. I think I'm back. Cheers. Oh, wait a minute. Let's taste this, right? Has the good makings of a Belgian IPA. Cheers. Okay, it's down to the final couple of minutes before I start the whirlpool, so just drop the last ounce of Galaxy. So I had what was it, a half an ounce of Simcoe at 60 minutes for the boil, and then I put an ounce of Galaxy in the last 5 minutes. Now I'm getting ready to go do 2 ounces of Galaxy in the whirlpool. It gets kind of crazy, so I'm not going to try to film it, but I just wanted to try to close out the brew day. So I might come back on when I do the final gravity just to see where we ended up. I think we should hit our target gravity. So cheers. Okay, so that was the brew day footage, and you probably saw me do a review of Gary's New England IPAs. But anyway, that took off like later that night. It was bubbling away crazy, and that's wild. I mean, you just take dry yeast, and I just kind of, sprayed the outside of the pack, opened it up, crinkled the package so I had a little funnel, and then I just poured it into the top of the glass carboy, so it made this little circular powder with the 2 packs. And I was like, man, I don't know if this is going to work. It's been sitting in the freezer since June. But it did say it was good, and through the dry yeast had a date of like September 2020 on it. So, but anyway, sprinkled it in, took off like a freaking rocket, and it's already fermented out, I think. I looked in there, there's no more visible fermentation going on, at least on the airlock. There is a little bit of kind of sediment still on top, and there's a lot of stuff in suspension. So, but this is the sample. It went from 1067 or 1068 down to 1008. So it's going to be a 7.8%, almost an imperial strength. It's going to be a Belgian IPA. So I don't think I'm going to put in any more hops because it's got pretty good hop character on it. I don't know, maybe I'll throw some dry hops. I don't think I need to though. I do want this stuff to drop out of flocculation here, or whatever, suspension. So I'm going to probably give it another day to clean up, and if it doesn't get any clear, another day or 2, and then we're going to go to Disney Friday. So what I'll do is I'll just throw it in the refrigerator when in Disney and let everything drop out. So it'll be a nice extended cold crash. So anyway, here's a little sample. Let's get some. Well, you can see it looks like a New England IPA, but it's not. It's a Belgian IPA. I want it to be clear. Damn it, it better drop out. So. Has a classic Belgian kind of, actually smells like a triple. Smells just like a triple. And the reason I would know that is because I have a triple sitting right here from none other than New Belgium. And their triple is, I don't know if you've had it, it's 8.5%. It's really good. Yeah, this thing smells just like, I can smell hops and I can smell triple. So anyway, let's get a taste. Yeah, it's not as much bitterness as I thought there was going to be. Simcoe's just, I mean, it was Cryo Simcoe, so it was like 23% alpha acid. So I thought I'd get a good amount of, I did an ounce of that or half an ounce of that at 60. Hell, I should have done the whole ounce because I didn't get as much. Didn't get as much bittering as I intended to, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe it's just tasting funny because it's in a. I mean, it tastes really good actually. It's nothing wrong with it at all. Tastes great. Yeah, I think it'll taste maybe more like an IPA once it clears up and gets cold. We'll see what happens. Either way, it's going to get served one way or another. They're going to drink it. Not at gunpoint, but anyway, yeah, this triple is pretty nice. If you haven't had New Belgium's triple, you need to pick it up. It's pretty good. Had a great. I tell you what, I'm having there's a resurgence right now of Homebrew Wednesday videos cropping up. You're starting to see Nate popped up after a long hiatus. Rhett Brewery is like killing it with his, that blue leather chair that he has in front of his rig system. It's pretty funny. He's like, it's like I call it the Rhett throne. But he's doing some cool reviews, and you know, I know he's gonna, you know, be unleashing some homebrew Wednesday videos. Jake is freaking popping up. I got to go back and watch Jake's. I know he just posted one, and I haven't had a chance to go back and look at it this week yet. And hell, Josh Hoover popped up after a hiatus and did a Homebrew Wednesday video. Seeing some more from yeah, just a lot of guys are. I mean, SJ is starting to put out some Homebrew Wednesday videos, and you know, Wally has been kind of my yin and yang, I guess, with Homebrew Wednesdays. He's faithfully, you know, every week. I don't even know if the guy's missed a week. I've missed a week or two here and there. Maybe he has, but I don't think so. He's pretty regular. He might have went on vacation once or something, but that is good news for the brewing world, because for the home brewing world, at least for our club, because it's awesome. You know, the communal kind of aspect we had, you know, I guess a year or two ago, and I think people are starting. There's an awakening in the force. I'm loving it. I'm loving every bit of it. So let's. Gary's like throwing out some experiment videos, and I'm pretty fired up right now because I got a lot of brewing coming up. I got a lot of stuff going on. I can't talk about some of it yet, but I've got a lot of things brewing right now. Not the least of which is homebrew. So there's a yeast experiment coming up. I got a brew, I think on the 1st or 2nd of February, or 1st of February. Got this IPA that I got to get over on the 2nd of February. It's 2nd of February? I think it's maybe it's the 6th. I don't know. For Super Bowl party. We got the SJ Pour Challenge, and that brew on the early February is for the yeast experiment. Then I got the SJ Pour Challenge coming up, I guess, and you know, I guess it'll be about May or June when I have to brew. I get a first round buy, and I get to do that. I did an application for 4 entries to the National Homebrew Conventions. I want to do that, and then I want to join some local competitions around here in Virginia. See, if, you know, I need to get some bling going. I had really good luck back in 2016, and then just it's been a dry spell now. So I need to get some more bling going on. Congratulations to Rhett, his 3rd place in that competition he did locally. Dude, that is awesome. It feels so good when you win a medal. I know how good that feels. It's you know, it's weird. You know, I've won a lot of medals in the Army, and I didn't think that winning a medal in a homebrewing competition would mean so much, but it was a lot of fun because you put a lot of work into this stuff, and it's very creative, and it's all about kind of your art and your skill and what you do. So congratulations, Matt. That's awesome that you got that. You got that 3rd place. I guess it's a bronze medal. That's really cool. Anyway, that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it now. Yeah, that's it. I am interested in seeing Josh and hopefully Nate, how those Maharajas turn out. I think Nate gave me the recipe. I'm thinking he might go back and brew it after he saw the reaction that I did. I hope he does that. That'd be very cool. Congratulations to Nate, by the way, for being selected to be his homebrew club president. That's awesome, dude. I can't think of a better guy to be a president of a homebrew club. You bring a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of creativity, and a lot of passion to the craft. So good on him for picking the right guy. I might be picked for something soon, but it's not a homebrew club. I've been running away from my neighborhood homeowners association. They've been chasing me down to get on the board, but you know, doesn't even compare. Anyway, hey, have yourself a happy homebrew and have a very, very happy Homebrew Wednesday. Cheers.